It's time for the Income for Life Daily Dime. Reactions and analysis on important financial news that impacts you in 10 minutes or less. Brought to you by the podcasting pros at Third Wheel Media. If you're a financial professional, estate planning attorney, real estate agent, or any small business owner, Third Wheel Media has a podcasting production package that fits your needs. Visit thirdwheelmedia.com to find out more. Now, here's today's Daily Dime.
Welcome to Income for Life's Daily Dime, powered by our friends at Third Wheel Media and Folds of Honor, where Nick and I have a quick hit discussion in 10 minutes or less about a topic revolving around the financial and retirement planning world that we feel is important enough to discuss. And Nick, we have a really neat article that we found here from CNBC that we're going to take a few minutes here to discuss. And what this is it's talking about the differences between investing in a lump sum or dollar cost averaging, which is you're adding money in systematically over time. And this article from CNBC has some neat numbers that I think will benefit people, especially that are close to retirement age. So let's talk about it a little bit.
I really like this article, Matt, and I like the concept of it. I think the article is a little bit misleading in some of the stuff.
It is, a little bit, yeah.
But the reason we actually chose this article is because we think the concept fits the way that we look at planning for retirement, and the difference in when you should maybe look at dollar cost averaging versus putting a lump sum, putting your nest egg to work, what timing works best, and how to best kind of approach that as you think about the different segments of your life.
And we have a lot of clients that are kind of battling this, that come to us. They're like, okay, well, I have, for example, this 401k, and I am 60 years old, so they're like, well, do I just take a little bit out of that and kind of dip my toe in the water, if you would, and kind of test it out and put a little bit in here, and then over time add it all in, which is the dollar cost averaging way? Or do I take that full amount and put it in now
and start to have it work all together?
And have it work all together in the bigger number. So that's what this article is doing, and it's trying to give some ideas and kind of some framework around which is the best way to go.
Correct.
So let's talk about it. I know there's a lot of factors that go into this article, and like you said, Nick, it's a little bit misleading. I mean, it's still the framework of it is right where we need to be, and I think a lot of our clients and listeners that are kind of battling with this may appreciate these numbers.
And the reason we think it's a little misleading is the headline says, here's why lump sum investing is a better option than dollar cost averaging. And I think that title is just a little misleading because depending on your stage in your life, your stage in investing, dollar cost averaging for younger people,
oh, it's dynamite.
It's probably the only way that they can actually start to build up that nest egg. And we really feel it's the right approach. If you have $50 a month, $500 a month, or $5,000 a month, continuing to contribute in a systematic way is how you build up that nest egg. Now, as you approach retirement planning, as you get 5 or 10 years outside of when you're thinking about retiring and you're starting to think about what's that plan going to be, that's when we think putting that lump sum, the nest egg that you've taken time to build, because time's no longer as much on your side, that's when we got to start to look at how are we going to take that nest egg, that lump sum, and put that to work in the most efficient way. That's when we can really start to make things happen.
And the neat part about this, as we talk about this article again from CNBC, if you'd like to have a copy of it, just shoot us an email to info@incomeforlife.org, and we'll get a copy of this over to you. But the neat thing that you just hit on is the big factor, at least to us, is kind of age whenever you decide to get this going. Because like you said, if you're younger, 30, 35, 40 years old, and you don't, have that $1 million to throw in a lump sum like they talk about here in the article. But if you can put in your couple $100 a month or your $1,000 a month, whatever it might be,
contributing to your 401k,
then what you're doing is you're building up that nest egg,
Correct.
which is also building up your lump sum.
Correct.
So, you don't have that big number to throw in right away. But whenever you get close to retirement age, let's just say 60 and up, and now you're in that 10-year window to be able to retire, it's usually much more efficient and much smarter way to take a lump sum and have that lump sum working for your retirement income plan immediately.
Yes.
As opposed to, well, I'll just gradually build that up, because you want that big number accumulating and working for you right away. And some of the numbers that they go through here in this article kind of state exactly that. And one of them says, and this is a quote from the article, it says, if you look at the probability that you'll end up with a higher cumulative value, the study shows it's overwhelmingly when you use a lump sum investment approach versus dollar cost averaging. And they're saying, in essence, what we are saying as well is get that big number working for you right away.
Correct.
So if you can do that, then, and if you have that guaranteed lifetime income on the back end of that, that's the key. So we always talk to people all the time, get that income plan set up. An income plan, though, does not mean starting the income immediately necessarily.
Nope.
It could be get that income plan in a place that can work for you so that when you start the income 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, it is locked and loaded and ready to go.
It's putting that lump sum in a strategy and a plan for how you're going to utilize it when you choose to retire. Whenever you start to look at dollar cost averaging over a short period of time, yet say 10 years or less, that's when you're really timing the market. You're trying to figure out when the highs and lows are and see what's going to be best. That almost never works over a short period of time. When you do it for an extended period of time, decades upon decades, 20, 30, 40 years, when you start investing, that's when dollar cost averaging can really have some power for you. So when people look at this, it's, the article can be a little bit misleading because of the timing. We look at it as don't hesitate when you're young to start investing, to start that dollar cost averaging process. But as you approach retirement and time is no longer on your side, that's when we need to figure out a plan for that lump sum. You've already been diligent and saved. How are we going to put that lump sum to use, get the most efficient and opportunistic process for it, and then execute that strategy once it's in place?
And that strategy, like we said a little bit ago, Nick, that strategy of this is going to be my pension style income, this is my guaranteed income down the road.
That's what you need. Yep.
It is not. Just because you set up a plan like that does not mean that you have to start that income immediately.
No.
There's so many people out there that that will wait, and maybe if they do, there's a reason. That's completely fine. But if you're in a position where you have 4, 5, 10 years away from having to start that income plan,
yep,
and you can, get that money into an income plan now and have that working for you, that has been proven time and time and again to really work well for a majority of people out there.
It's the best way to solve for your 3 C's
Absolutely.
Of retirement is to put that lump sum, that nest egg to use, put it in a plan, have action steps that you're going to do with an advisor to really make that plan work for you and make that lifetime income, that no-so income, really fit your lifestyle going forward.
And you don't have to be retired to do this strategy. That's the big thing.
You got to do it beforehand.
You got to do it before.
To let the market do what it's going to do.
How many times have we talked to people where they are, say, 60 years old? And they're, giving us a call because they're wanting to get some ideas about how to do this properly. And say, well, I don't need to do anything because I'm not retiring for another 7 years.
Correct.
I don't have to do it until then. We're like, well, no, you don't have to do it until then, but it's recommended to do this earlier and get that money moved over to this sort of a strategy while you're still working to let that accumulate for that 7 years, for example, and do what it needs to be doing.
Correct. And the earlier you do it, the earlier you start planning that strategy, then the more variability comes in of, well, do you need to wait till full retirement, 67, to actually retire or start taking Social Security? Is there some options at 62 or 65 where we can put that income plan in place, make it work for you, and all of a sudden your retirement becomes a little bit more open and you have some options and some decisions.
And you can relax.
Exactly.
I mean, the last 4 or 5 years of your work, you're able to relax knowing, hey, I got this thing set up.
Yep.
This is over here. I don't got to worry about it. It's ready to go. So again, if you're listening today again to Income for Life's Daily Dime, powered by our friends at Folds of Honor and Third Wheel Media, feel free to give us a call at 888-228-8814. We'll get a copy of this to you, or if you want to see your numbers about, okay, well, yeah, I'm interested in what this would look like if I started this now and waited 10 years before I started the income, we can run those numbers for you and absolutely show you what we can do to help you stay retired. Again, thank you very much for listening to our Daily Dime today. We appreciate your time, and until next one, bye-bye for now.
This has been the Income for Life Daily Dime. Reactions to and analysis of the important financial news of the day in 10 minutes or less. For help with your financial and retirement plan, call 888-228-8814 or visit incomeforlife.org. The Daily Dime is brought to you by the podcasting pros at Third Wheel Media. Do you need a turnkey solution to launching and maintaining your own podcast? We have packages for business professionals that provide you with content, editing, posting, social media, and all the steps in between. We can make the podcasting process simple and effective. Book a free consultation at thirdwheelmedia.com and mention you heard about us on the Daily Dime for access to an exclusive discount on our services. That's thirdwheelmedia.com. Information provided on today's show is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information is obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Always consult with a qualified professional before taking any action.